So let me show you why they're never going to let me in the lightweight backpacking club. A lot of it has to do with my gear choices and probably my rain gear especially. Um, I carry a snug pack patrol poncho, and I also have Montbell chaps in here. I carry an umbrella. I carry Showa gloves. So ultra lightweight backpackers are going to say that's way overkill, and I tend to agree in a way, but it does more than rain gear. I probably use this stuff more for other reasons than I ever do for rain. But when it rains or snows or sleets, I'm glad to have it. So the umbrella, I've said this so many times before, but on the PCT they call me Umbrella Man because I wore this thing all the time, basically to keep the sun off me. So I carry it attached to my pack, hands free, and it's like a giant hat. And the nice thing about that is then I don't have to wear a hat. So if I'm hiking in the desert and it's hot, instead of my head sweating, I just take my hat off and wear this umbrella, and my head gets a lot more air, and it doesn't get UV rays, so that protects me. And the joke is, I'd always tell people that would make fun of me that when you get to be 76 years old and your face starts to fall off, you'll get one too. So the Showa gloves, they look like Smurf gloves. Yeah, they'll keep your hands dry, but I use them more for keeping my hands warm. Again, my mode of operation is to get up before dawn and start hiking. Well, it's often cold before dawn, and my old hands don't have the circulation that a lot of young hands have. And so these have a liner, and they're not like heated gloves, but they keep the bulk of the heat in there if I want to use poles in the morning, depend on terrain. If I don't have to use my poles, I don't even wear these things. I'll just stow my poles and put my hands in my pocket until the sun comes up and it's warm. But a lot of times I'm in terrain where I need those poles, uphill, downhill, rocky, whatever, and so my hands are exposed, and these keep it warm. And if it's raining, keeps them dry. Again, water sucks the heat right from your body, so the drier you can stay, warmer you're going to stay. And the patrol poncho, I consider this another layer, and it's not just raining when I wear this. In fact, I probably wear it more as a layer. When it gets cold, I'll put this thing on. It's a windbreak. The chaps, if I'm in the morning a lot of times, and I'm in really a lot of vegetation, and again I get up and walk early. It's just full of condensation, and it might be cold. So you walk through, Glacier was a perfect example. You're walking through thimbleberries up to here. And sometimes I would just be soaking wet. Now the weather was nice out there, so I didn't have to put something like this on. But if it was cold, I don't want to be wet. And so I would put maybe the patrol poncho on, for sure the chaps if it's just low vegetation. Keep that water from soaking my pants, and it's going to keep me a whole lot warmer and drier. So it doesn't have to be rain, or doesn't have to be sleet or snow. If you watch my Arizona, the second time I did the Arizona Trail in first week in March, a blizzard basically in the low elevations, not up in the Sky Islands. I'm down in the low desert, and we had a blizzard. And you see me getting up in the morning, I've got this on. It's not because I'm getting wet, it's just to keep me warm. It's just part of my layering system. So I just have two puffies and this hoodie. That's basically my clothing for the top layers. and this would add a really good layer to that in bad conditions to keep me warm. And so it's not just rain gear. All of this stuff has a second use for me, and so I'm probably carrying almost 2 pounds. You know, it's probably under 2 pounds, but it's real close. I think this patrol poncho, and I think this whole packet here weighs probably more than a lot of people's Dyneema tent. You know, it's probably 17, 18 ounces, everything in here. The umbrella's 6 to 8 ounces. Showa gloves, you know, probably add another 6 ounces to that. You know, it's getting right up there, but it has more than one purpose besides rain gear. And again, I'm not telling you to go out and get all this gear and carry all this gear. I'm just saying you got to think about the conditions you're going to run into. And I always make the joke about the Arizona Trail. That the morning I had that blizzard, I probably could have sold this patrol poncho for 3 times what I paid for it to the 2 guys that were in Hawaiian shirts. You know, they came to the desert to hike. It's the desert. They had a shock. Anyway, they had very colorful Hawaiian shirts, but it didn't keep them very warm. Anyway, those are the kind of things to think about when you're talking about weight and what you're going to carry and what it's going to do for you. You know, you've got to weigh, no pun intended, all those factors. Keep smiling.